Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Today is a good day to talk about Star Trek Into the Unknown. Glory and Zeal is up for pre-order right now, and we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about all the new spoilers, everything that has been revealed for this so far, and let you know some of the details. There's a lot that we do know. There's also a lot more that we don't know, and we're going to talk about all of that in today's video. Plus, we're going to do another one of our 12 Days of Life Day giveaway winners at the end of this video. If you want to have a chance to enter to win any of the 12 Days of Life Day giveaways, you just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my other videos. It's as simple as that. Also, any gifts that go unclaimed for 30 days will then roll over into bonus Patreon giveaways. So patrons, you guys have additional opportunities to win cool stuff. So let's go ahead and start talking about everything we know for Glory and Zeal, the campaign expansion for Star Trek Into the Unknown. This is a campaign expansion. It's going to be bringing 4 ships. We are going to introduce the Cardassians in here with the Galore is coming in. Of course, the most common ship is the Galore. Also, the Grumal Freighter, which is going to be a smaller ship, probably lightly armed, but you know, this is kind of a gentle introduction to the Cardassians. It's not going to really feel like a whole lot to run them as a fully fledged faction all on their own. It does remain to be seen if there will be some standalone ship packs or additional Cardassian options that are going to launch alongside this expansion. But one thing you can do is you can run smaller ship campaigns. You can run, you know, the 2 versus 2 campaigns. You can use this as a way to continue a campaign expansion or to start a new one. But also, you can use a lot of the Cardassian presence in here, and you'll be able to sway them, and you basically have them work with the Dominion. And so this is going to also, in addition to being a sort of its own faction, this is going to provide a little bit more options for the Dominion, a faction that definitely would need it. And that's a beautiful thing about this being that second expansion, or the third box in the Star Trek The Into the Unknown line, is that at first we had Federation and Dominion, and then with Rising Tensions, which just came out, we had the introduction to Klingons, and then a little more for the Federation. So it kind of filled out the Federation a little bit more. This box fills out the Klingons a little bit more by giving them the Negvar, and also an extra bird of prey if you didn't already have one, but it also fills out the Dominion a little bit more. So this is a nice cap, and this kind of gives an air of a roundness, sort of, to the first 3 factions in the game, which I think is a very good thing. Also helps complete Klingons, helps complete the Dominion. This one really doesn't do much for the Federation, but that's okay. Federation kind of had their second shot in Rising Tensions. So a lot of, you know, completeness to this particular expansion, and this isn't even the end. There's more coming for sure, but that's just the start, because we have all kinds of spoilers. Last week I was able to spoil Martok and a little bit of Core. Martok, of course, we talked about him in last week's episode. Is a very cool function of letting everybody cloak or decloak, and he gets to do that if he's your Commodore, which means he can't do that if Gowron is your Commodore, which is a very cool thing. Notice that both Core and Martok have sway with the Federation. Again, we're going to be doing a lot more with sway in the near future, I am pretty sure. We are still awaiting some rules updates and stuff for some of the more specifics on how sway can work and how we can upscale and downscale you know, existing fleets for larger or smaller missions. All of that should be coming as well. But I also want to direct your attention over to another great channel that got a great spoiler, and that's Ion Radio was given some very cool spoilers. And they were able to spoil some of the Cardassians, and so we've had a chance to look at those a little bit. And I'll put a link to Ion Radio's video, because it was actually very interesting. There was some initial confusion with some of the symbology that was given to that initial preview to Ion Radio, but it has been rectified and cleared up. And that basically Dukat had the Klingon symbol on one side of his card, and there were a few other little things like that it just says, like, wait a second, that's probably not right. So definitely check it out. For context, definitely go check out Ion Radio's video. They're going to talk a little bit more about these, but we don't have a full spoiler on Damar, but we do have a spoiler on Dukat, and I've been looking at him a lot, and I love him. It had been suggested to me very early on that I would like the Cardassians, and I think Dukat is exactly why. He gets to kind of secretly replace one of your trust tokens with a Dukat trust token. Now, we don't know what a Dukat trust token looks like, but he, you know, what he can do is he can reveal his token, of course, if you haven't figured it out by then. And if you've scored exactly that many negative victory points, you can remove them. Of course, typically, when you attack somebody unprovoked, you score negative victory points. That's one way to kind of escalate the tensions of the game. And it allows for, if Dukat is in your fleet, it allows you to open fire on people unprovoked. And as long as things don't get too out of hand and things kind of go mostly according to plan, you're going to get out of it scot-free without suffering that negative victory point penalty, which is very cool. It does look like Damar also has something that works with negative victory points. Notice they both are dual citizenship, right? They're both Cardassians and Dominion, and both have sway with both Cardassians and the Dominion. So, in other words, if you take Dukat and Damar into your Dominion fleet, they're still going to have sway to pull in more Cardassians, and I think that's going to be how you can bring a Galore into the Dominion. But the exact rulings on that are still forthcoming, at least at the time of me. I'm still working on this video right now, so as of the time of me recording it, that is what's going on. One other thing is that that Ion Radio was able to spoil was some of the Klingon cards that we already have, but there was a single Cardassian card in there. That one is, thanks to Ion Radio sharing this on their socials as well. They did point out that this one was also, it is definitely supposed to be our Cardassian card, which is Protect Cardassian Interests. And this one, it does give you a little bit of the different teams they're going to have: Military Order team, Science Ministry team, and Obsidian Order teams. It also deals with coercion. There's definitely cards that we're going to see that want to work if you have the coerce ability. Although none of the spoilers I've seen so far for the Cardassians have the coerce ability directly baked in. I'm guessing that might be something that could appear on ships or potentially on other cards, maybe on their Hail card or something like that. But this one only scores you one negative victory point when you do an aggressive act. So again, maybe not everything is the same. We don't know how many negative victory points are going to be assigned for different things, but there we go. Not a whole lot to dig into with that one. The rest of those are Klingon cards. Some people were wondering if Dukat was going to be able to run in a bird of prey. I don't see that happening right now. I guess he did use one for a little bit, and maybe it is possible. But what I think is more likely is that if they do like a late Deep Space Nine Dukat, it may be something they do eventually. But I just don't see that happening right now. Or maybe there'll be a special standalone bird of prey at some point that is like a Lursa and B'Etor mercenary bird of prey, and they can work for anybody, or something like that. Like, I could see things like that happening. I could see ways for that to happen. I just don't think that's the priority right now, because I think the version of Dukat we're getting is very like season 1 sort of Gold Dukat. That's the way I get it. I don't think this is Pa Wraith, like crazy late season Dukat. I think there's room for multiple versions of certain characters. I think that's kind of how it will go in the long run. But that's definitely a little bit of speculation on my part. We have more, though. We have more stuff to talk about. And definitely go check out the Ion Radio video where they have spoiled stuff. Sub to that channel, too, because this probably won't be the last exclusive that they get. So if you want more exclusives, of course, hopefully you're subscribed here, but definitely subscribe over there as well. All right. We also have some more stuff on the pre-order page. So we do have some more characters, right? We have Kurok, who I am definitely happy to see. Kurok. We have she was in that episode with Dr. Crusher doing the metaphasic shield and all that stuff, and Dr. Rega's shield and all of that. And it's good to see like characters that had some screen time and that did represent Klingons that weren't all warriors. Yes, and so she's got a cool ability. And if she's her Qapla', she gains inspiring for science, which is a pretty cool thing. Now, she's got an interesting reaction. It says when her ship takes a warp action, it's a reaction if she's in engineering, which of course that makes sense. You can exhaust her to test a 3 difficulty science check plus navigation, and on success, increase the maximum distance of the engaged warp maneuver by 4 inches and add 1 peril to the ship. Now that's an interesting ability there. I think it's very situational. I don't think it's something that you'll do all the time, but I think it's nice to have the option. Now, the interesting thing is, because it's a science test, not all Klingon ships that we've seen so far, of course we haven't seen the Negvar yet, are particularly strong at science, so I think she might struggle a little bit on a bird of prey, but because it is a plus navigation, and she has navigation too, I'd wager she still has a pretty good chance of succeeding on this one, even on a bird of prey. It is difficulty 3. I think the bird of prey starts with only science 2, so it'd be a little bit challenging, but it is possible, especially if you're already inspired and if you've got some advantage tokens and things like that. But definitely, she probably wants to be on a bigger ship. But then again, that ability is probably a little bit more useful for a bird of prey or something that's in maybe attack mode that doesn't have, like, maybe it's a high yellow alert or red alert or something like that, and maybe they've lost a little bit of that speed, so she can help make up for it a little bit. But then again, at the same time, it might be hard to test blue there. Again, the Nav2 is helping for that. We also have Galora Real. And something when she leads a test, we don't really have a whole lot about that, but she has got also navigation 2, mechanics 2, good, looks like a pretty solid character for the Cardassians. We have Gul Osset and Gul Madred. Very, very, very awesome characters. Well, especially Gul Madred. Gul Osset was cool, though. We didn't see too many. I think she was the first Klingon Gull we saw, and that was in that. It was actually a pretty cool episode where everybody came together and they found out the changelings, or not really the changelings, but they kind of changelings founded all humanity in the galaxy and all this stuff. But yes, she's kind of open-ended there. We don't see a whole lot there, but she does. She looks like she has something that is going to be able to put some advantage out there. Gul Madred, on the other hand, has a new keyword, Dutiful 3. I don't think we've seen Dutiful yet. I'm not sure that. Again, this will be something that probably comes out originally, unless of course maybe I have just missed Dutiful and it's already been spoiled. I haven't seen Dutiful anywhere at this time, so. If you know what that does already, let me know. I don't think it's been spoiled yet. I also want to point out that both Gul Osset and Gul Madred, or Osset and Madred, are not Dominion Cardassians here. So this is, again, well, they are also TNG era in their appearances, and they were not particularly predominant during the Dominion War. So again, keeping it thematic. Again, this also tells us that while the Cardassians can work with the Dominion, they are also a faction unto their own, and so not 100% of them will be absorbed by the Dominion, although they could be pulled in with sway, theoretically, right? So it doesn't mean that Gul Madred could not join a Dominion ship. He certainly could if you had the sway. But yes, so Dutiful 3 for Madred. After his unit coerces another unit, the coerced unit adds an additional peril for each negative victory point banked on Madred. So it's going to be really interesting to see how all of that works, how you're banking negative victory points on people, and how his unit is going to coerce another unit. Again, we have to see more of that. I think a lot of it is going to be through hails. I think that's probably going to be how it happens. I wonder if there will be some extra upgrades or equipment that you can put on ships. We do know that there is some new equipment, that the Klingons are also getting some new upgrade cards and things like that. So that is an interesting one. We have Kang and Tavana. So we already saw Kor, and that's a good one. So we are also seeing Kang, which also does ask the question, is Koloth also going to be in this expansion? Maybe. I guess we will have to wait and see. But he has a Kapla ability. We can't quite see. It looks like it's versatile because you can choose something. So that looks good. He has empathy and diplomacy. What a nice Klingon Kang is. Great episode of Deep Space Nine that had all three, Kor, Kang, and Koloth, by the way. Very cool stuff. And then Tavana is a pretty interesting one. Now, she served on, I believe, on the Roatan with Martok. So that does make me wonder if we're going to see the Roatan. That was a bird of prey, so I wonder if we're going to see, because there's supposed to be new titles in here, I wonder if we're going to see a bird of prey title. Maybe that will be a thing that we get for the Roatan. Maybe. She has discipline, empathy 1, fieldcraft, and mechanics, Kapla game +1 mechanics, and she has a reaction after her ship decloaks. You can exhaust her to add 2 advantage to it, which seems pretty good. You know, granted, you're also exhausting her, but I mean, if you have her, if she's a mechanic, and maybe you want her down in the mechanics bay, right? You want her down in engineering. You might, if you're not damaged yet, you might not need to exhaust her. So, you know, she can at least help the attack that way, right? So that's like, it seems like it's an overall pretty good ability. For 10 points isn't, you know, it's a little on the expensive side, but then again, she does have 2 health like Klingons tend to have. So I think that's one thing I'm noticing with the Klingons is they are expensive because they have twice as much health as everybody else, or as most everybody else. So that's going to be a thing to think about, because it's a decent ability and she's got good stats. Mechanics is always good. It's maybe good to have empathy. You know, me personally, I'm more about blasting, and I'm a little bit less empathetic in my games, but you never know what mission is going to come out and what you're actually going to need. And when you need, it's better to have stuff and not need it than to need stuff and not have it. So that is definitely a thing. And so those are different spoilers that are available on the website. I'm going to put a link to both the Ion Radio video and also the website down in the video description below. Glory and Zeal currently releasing Q3 2026. You can get your pre-orders in now, and yeah, it's gonna be some cool stuff. It looks fun. There may be some more spoilers. I don't know how many more we're gonna get before it comes out, but it's still kind of a ways out. So we'll be bringing you all the latest as it becomes available. And let me know some of your thoughts. Do you think we'll see more for the Cardassians announced before this comes out? Do you think we'll see a standalone ship expansion? Do you think we'll see other Cardassian ships? Maybe. I like the Galore. I think it'd be fun to just run a fleet of Galores, but a Keldon would be cool. I think a lot of people are going to want that. I feel like that seems reasonable. And maybe other Dominion allies too, like the Breen. Who knows what is coming next? Who knows? Well, we have a little bit of an idea, but very fun stuff. We have a winner to announce too for our 12 Days of Life Day giveaway. Today is going to be a Star Trek Into the Unknown specific giveaway, and this one is going to be for a ship for Star Trek Into the Unknown. It is a Defiant. This is a promo Defiant with ship stand, and more or less for the extra model. No ship cards included, but this was one that was given out at Adepticon last year. And so if you would like to win a Defiant, well, you have to be our winner. And today's winner is Best Shifty. Congratulations, Best Shifty. Go ahead and shoot me an email at mailcrabbok@gmail.com, and make sure you let me know what you won, and I'll get your shipping information from you, and we'll get this shipped out. If you did not win, don't worry. There are more opportunities to win. And I guess anything unclaimed within 30 days will roll over into Patreon giveaways. So definitely check that out. And links are in the video description below. And you can jump on our Discord as well and keep the discussion going there. I will talk to you guys soon. Stay tuned for lots of exciting stuff. And that'll do it for today. All right, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are amazing and help make this whole channel possible. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. So say we all. And always wash your socks.